Hey everybody, it's Riley here. We just got back from a car show where we had the opportunity to ask some supercar owners how the heck they were able to afford and purchase their nice vehicle. Now, one of the many questions I get as a financial planner is how much can I afford to spend on a car? So today's mission was to answer that question.
Well, usually with cars like this, sometimes you have to be able to afford them twice to own them once, because when something breaks down or whatever, you got to have some money ready.
My dad used to have a strong box, and every week he'd put money in the strong box, and every 3 years we'd go out, oh, we're buying a new car today, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the way it is.
Well, when you get rid of the kids, you can have one. That's the biggest secret right there.
This is obviously a very, it's an expensive car, and this is a dream car for probably most people here.
Me too.
So what does somebody have to be worth to be able to afford a car like this and still, be comfortable?
Man, people, I know waitresses that have $2,000 handbags. It's all about priorities, I agree with you want to be comfortable, but people are in debt. I know so many people that have cars like this that really can't afford it, but that's their passion. So It's really about priorities.
Yep. It's a great question to ask because when it comes to someone's financial health, overwhelming car payments or auto debt can be a huge hindrance on wealth accumulation. So today we stopped by the show with millions of dollars worth of cars in attendance with one mission in mind: to ask car owners their process and rationale for buying a vehicle. And although these might not be your everyday vehicles, hopefully this video will help as you search for the right car for yourself. So tell me, what kind of car is it?
It's a McLaren GT.
29 Chevy sedan.
I got a BMW M4. It's a 2023.
What does a car like this go for?
I bought this for like $85,000. As soon as I got it, I bought all this stuff because I just wanted to get it all installed one-time shop. Just did that, so probably another $20,000, $30,000.
What are we in here?
This is a Ferrari 488 Spider.
1957 Corvette.
What does a car like this cost?
Boy, that's a good question. It'll vary from probably 75 to a couple of $100,000.
It's a 1965 C2 Corvette. They could go for $250,000. Yeah.
So what kind of car do we have here?
1932 Highboy Roadster.
What does a car like this cost?
Well, it can go anywhere from 30 to 100 and more.
Mazda AutoZam AZ1. I got it because some guy was jaded with his girlfriend, so I got a good deal on this one. I paid $16 for this one.
What do you think it's worth?
Market's around 25 or so.
Oh yeah.
It's a Corvette C8 convertible.
How much is a car like this worth?
I think it's just around the 100K mark.
Yeah.
It's a 55 Chevy Bel Air. This one is probably in the 70s, 68 to 70,000. Spent $30,000 on it and got it back to beauty, and it's a good-looking car and very fast.
Yeah.
This is a 2002 Dodge Viper.
So how much does a car like this cost?
Wow, geez. It could be anywhere between 60 and 80,000.
All right, so we saw a ton of cool cars today, from Maseratis to Lamborghinis. And if you've ever purchased a car in the past, you probably already know there are a few ways that you can get into one. You don't have to actually pay in full. You can finance, you can put some money down in finance, or you can lease. So since I was curious about the situations of some of these car owners, I asked for more specifics on just how they were able to get into their vehicles. So, we've asked a bunch of different people today, and everybody's kind of got a different answer. There are a few different ways you can get into a car. You can buy it outright, right? You can finance it, you can put money down, or you can lease it. And there are benefits to each, right? But what did you do and why?
I traded my truck in, so I had a Tundra, and I said, I want to get rid of that, traded it in. Yep. And for me, I financed it because the rate I got was pretty low, a 4% rate, and it was for 60 months. And so the market itself, I usually make around 10 to 12%.
For this car, I bought it outright because I expected to keep it. I don't buy cars necessarily for investment purposes. I buy them to use and enjoy. So I guess I kind of figure if you're going to do something like that, stay within your means, buy what you can and enjoy it, because you may end up with nothing in the end.
What did you do and why?
This was a private sale, so it was definitely a cash deal.
Buy outright.
It's the best way to do it.
Our best way. My dad never financed the car, ever.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't either.
Yep.
If you can't afford it, don't buy it.
I put about half down, finance the rest.
Any particular reason why? I mean, usually people do that to bring the monthly payment down a little bit, and then there's an opportunity maybe somewhere else to invest, right? Is that kind of why you did it, or?
Yeah, I like to have some, free cash flow for other investments, real estate. I buy and sell, and I have a construction company too. So.
Oh yeah.
I paid cash for it. I mean, I pay cash for most of my cars because I put too many miles on them.
Well, with this one, the original owner's widow called me up and said she wanted to sell the car, and she named a price that was fair to both of us. And then she said, you name your terms. So I'm not going to argue with owner financing.
Yeah. What car do you have here? This thing's sweet.
Maserati Gran Turismo 2013. This is my stepping stone for Ferrari. So,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so the plan was to buy something like this and then just keep moving forward and try to get more and more and more, you know?
Yep.
I looked for the best deal I could and paid cash, and you get value out of it when you find something that needs some work and build it up, and hopefully I'll make some money on it.
No, I don't like debt. Everything I got to buy cash or I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah. Is there a reason?
Well, it's just peace of mind, really. I mean, I don't like to pay interest. I don't like to, just peace of mind.
Exactly. Now, obviously, there's no blanket answer for when it comes to the method you should choose to get into your vehicle. But here are some simple reasons people might choose one method over the other. For those who pay in full, it's usually to save on interest costs or avoid monthly payments. For those who finance, they either don't have the money to pay up front or they want to use their cash to leverage a higher earning opportunity elsewhere. For those who put up a down payment, usually do this to either lower their monthly payment, potentially get a lower interest rate, or reduce the chance that they're down on the vehicle at the end of the loan term. And last, for leasing, it can mean lower payments, potentially a newer vehicle. However, I will say leasing is often more expensive over the long run. But with all this being said, you're probably still wondering, how much can I afford to pay for a car? You want to get into a nice vehicle, but at the same time, you want to be financially responsible. So regardless of whether you do buy, finance, or lease, here are a couple fairly simple ways to figure that out. But before I give you my opinion, let's hear what the other car owners had to say about this. And the people who follow me are, interested in spending their money responsibly, but also enjoying it, right? So is there like a certain net worth or income you think somebody has to have to be able to get into a car like this?
Not really. I mean, I know guys that have cars that are, twice this that make half what I make. So it's just you deciding what you want to, do. I mean, for me, this is my outlet. This is my, hobby, and I'll spend more money on this than I probably will just about anything else.
Well, it depends on if you're financially wise or not. If you've got the money to spend, spend it. If you're going to look at it as an investment, make sure you do your homework.
Yeah.
But it's all up to the individual.
I think it really goes down to your net worth, your debt-income ratio, and your projection of your income in the future. And so if you are just starting out and you get to that number, say it's $100,000 a year you're making, but you have other dreams and aspirations to grow somewhere else, then you just have to pick and choose what's most valuable for you at that time and where your goals are.
It depends what value you put on the car.
Yeah.
So if you feel that it's the most important thing in your life, then you don't have to be worth as much because it's worth to spend your money on that item.
Yep.
So I can't really answer. Everyone's got to make their own decision on that one.
Exactly. So I thought there were a lot of great points made today. Obviously, people have their own methods for purchasing or getting into a vehicle.
Our daughters had grown out of the interest of being on a boat. We had a boat.
Okay.
So I had the money out of the boat so I could cash into this thing in 1995.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
I didn't tell my wife, and I put $50,000 cash down on this. This is the first really nice car I've ever bought. My retirement present.
To yourself, huh?
Yes, yeah.
So whether it's a retirement present to yourself that's strictly for enjoyment or a car for you to get around town in, calculating how much is reasonable to pay for a vehicle, whatever its purpose, has a lot to do with what it is you value. If you want a more strict calculation, use this principle. It's called the 20-10 rule, which basically says to put at least 20% down on a car as a down payment, and then ensure that your total other car-related expenses like oil changes, gas, and insurance don't exceed 10% of your monthly income. Well, and I have to ask, obviously, the insurance cost on this is probably more than my house maybe. So, what does that look like?
No, I don't even know. I just switch cars and whatever the bill is,
Yeah, it is.
So I really don't know, yeah. Sounds horrible, but,
it's all relative, isn't it?
If you're worried about gas and insurance, you shouldn't be buying this car, right?
I love it. Yeah, very good. Obviously, depending on your income, the purchase of a single car, whether it's a McLaren or a Mazda, may impact some people differently than others. But as the saying goes, it's all relative. And oftentimes, as people's income increases, so does their expenses.
For me, I want to be very comfortable in my net worth to be able to enjoy toys like this. And as I accrued more wealth, the toys got more expensive with it,
Exactly. Because of this, it's a good practice to check the impact that the purchase of a new car can have on your ability to buy or finance other things like a house or another vehicle. And this is where debt to income ratio comes in. And I'm going to keep it very simple. The ratio basically compares your debt to income, as you might have guessed, and the guidelines that banks use are typically this. If you can keep the debt to income ratio 35% or less, it's considered favorable. Between 36 and 49% is considered adequate, and over 50 is usually too high. So if you can keep it in the favorable category. Likely you're going to get approved for a loan, but that'll also help you to make it less likely that unexpected money problems will impact you in the future. Okay, before you buy your next vehicle or anything for that matter, let me leave you with this. If you get one thing from this video, remember to consider the impact that any decision has on your future ambitions. Many people don't realize they're just one smart move away from setting themselves up for a pretty amazing second half of life. In the end, remember, just like there's no exact formula out there that can tell me how much fishing stuff I'm allowed to buy, sometimes you just have to make it work within your budget. People are all going to value things differently, so the important thing is that you're wise enough to think about how your choices today might impact your future. If I was reminded anything today, it's that everyone has their own story, and it's the uniqueness of everyone's journey that makes life so interesting. And I guess that's the beauty of our system, that despite conventionality, you don't always have to play it by the book. And at the end of the day, what really matters is that the decisions you make are based on what you value most. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. In the meantime, remember, if you need help with investing or financial planning, start by going to blueoxadvisors.com.